Do you have a Halloween heavy metal playlist? These are the best 30 songs you can include on that playlist. So without further ado, let's get to the list because it's quite a long one. Number 30, we have Hecate's Nightmare by Children of Bodom. This is off of their most recent and final album. Children of Bodom are just a great sort of, I don't even know what to describe them as. They're like thrash, death, power metal almost. They are, a revelation. It is awful that Alexi Laiho died in such a way that he did, but to remember him, we're including a Children of Bodom song on this list, and Hecate's Nightmare is a terrifying one. It's a scary subject matter, so if you love Children of Bodom's music, you got to check out Hecate's Nightmare. Number 29, we have Slayer. We have Dead Skin Mask. If you've never listened to Dead Skin Mask, this movie will give you the creepy crawly feeling all over. It'll just make you, it's just a gross song. It's about serial killers. There's that whole voiceover in the middle section of it that's just kind of eerie sounding. And that's what you get with Dead Skin Mask. That's what you get with a lot of Slayer songs. Slayer, you could include the Antichrist, you could include Raining Blood, you can include Angel of Death, you can include like the whole Helloween album if you wanted. But I had to pick one here, and I picked Dead Skin Mask because it is just so terrifying. Number 28, we have Zombie Ritual by Death. Death's first album, you could include anything. Evil Dead, whatever. You can include a lot of tracks off of Death's first album, but I included Zombie Ritual because, well, it's a zombie ritual. That's kind of the long and the short of it here. If you love death, you love death metal, this is kind of Baby's first death metal here because it is not as sort of hard on the ears for some normies out there, so you might be able to get into it a little more. Death, as they went on, especially their final album, is a bit more like power metal. The Sound of Perseverance is one of my favorite albums out there, but the first album by Death, Scream Bloody Gore, you got to pick Zombie Ritual. Number 27, we're getting to the first Helloween track here, and we've got Dr. Steen. What else could you pick here, like by Helloween? It's in the name. Dr. Steen, just a great Halloween track in general. It's a pretty easy listening one, so if you're playing this playlist for normies that might not like heavy metal as much, it's pretty easy on the ears. Dr. Steen, a funny one. It's got the whole vibe of Halloween. It's got the whole vibe of the holiday. So Dr. Steen is a great one to include on your Halloween playlists. Following that up, we have number 26. We have Nightcrawler by Judas Priest. Nightcrawler, I remember driving on a bus from LA to Fresno, and it was late at night, and this song came on shuffle. And this was early on in my heavy metal listening career, so I didn't quite get to Painkiller, the album, yet. But I was going through the Judas Priest albums, album by album, listening to them, because I had just gotten all of them on the internet. And so, what did I get to? I got to Nightcrawler, and it was a foggy night on the 5 freeway heading up to Fresno from Los Angeles, and wow. It was quite the experience hearing that song for the first time. This song is just eerie, it's just creepy, it gets into you, and I think that's why Judas Priest wrote it that way. So if you love Nightcrawler, you gotta love its inclusion on this list. Number 25, we have a classic song. We have one that's gonna make everybody's Halloween playlist. We have Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue. Shout at the Devil, I mean, if you hate Motley Crue, you love this song. Like, it's just Halloween vibes all around. You gotta go Shout at the Devil. What more do you want out of a Halloween song than that? It's a great, great Halloween track. One of Motley Crue's best songs. Even if you hate Motley Crue, you gotta give their props to this song. Number 24, we have Dragula by Rob Zombie. I'm not the biggest Rob Zombie fan in the entire world. His movies, I think, are a little bit better than his music. But this is a great track. It's scary, it's fun, it's sort of that, like, whimsical sort of vibe, but you get a hard chugging riff along with it. So if you haven't heard Dragula in quite a long time, go check it out because it is an excellent addition to your heavy metal Halloween playlist, and these are some of the best in the biz. At it, you got to include Dragula by Rob Zombie. Number 23, we have a wild card here. We have Headless Cross by Black Sabbath. Yes, we have a Tony Martin era Black Sabbath album song in Headless Cross. This is one of the most underrated heavy metal albums in the history of the genre. It is Black Sabbath's most underrated album. If you haven't heard Headless Cross, listen to the whole thing, because it is Tony Iommi at the peak of his riff-making powers. He's just making just power out of his fingertips, or at least the caps on his fingertips on some of them. Tony Martin is singing the hell out of this track. It is a great one. It's another one that's pretty easy on the ears for the normies out there. So if you're making a Halloween playlist, you got to include Headless Cross. You could include Bad Moon from that album. You could include Devil and Daughter. You could include the whole album, really. It's just a very spooky album in general, but I picked Headless Cross for this list. Number 22, you have a classic. You have Number the Beast by Iron Maiden. There's going to be people out there that don't like Iron Maiden, but you got to love Number of the Beast. 666, the Number of the Beast. The whole thing goes into it. The vibes, the opening voiceover, all of it goes up into a perfect blend of Iron Maiden and heavy metal and Helloween. Heavy metal and scary movies and Helloween all go together in general anyway. This track just cements that, and it cemented Iron Maiden's place in the history of heavy metal as one of the best bands ever. Number 21, this is not a Helloween heavy metal list if you're not including King Diamond. We've got Night of the Unborn by Mercyful Fate. Don't worry, folks, we'll get to more King Diamond songs as this list goes on, but this track is one of the best by Mercyful Fate off of Don't Break the Oath. Such an amazing album in general. Another one that you can include every single track from it on this list, but I didn't want to do that because it would be boring, and you want to mix it up a little bit if you're playing this for friends at a party or whatever. Night of the Unborn, it's scary, it's got great vibes to it, and just an excellent heavy metal song in general. So if you love Helloween and heavy metal, you got to go with Mercyful Fate. Number 20, another underrated one here. We've got Fight 'Em Till You Can't by Anthrax, and I remember when this track came out. It came out as an MP3 download, and good God, did I wear that MP3 out. The solo on this track, this has nothing to do with Helloween, but the solo on this track absolutely rips. I remember just sitting there, air guitar shredding along to it. The vocals, everything about this track cemented that Anthrax was back, and back better than ever with their most recent run of albums. Good God, they've done a great job in recent years, but Fight 'Em Till You Can't is an amazing Helloween heavy metal track, just a great one about killing zombies, of all things. Number 19, we have Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter by Bruce Dickinson. We have the solo version of Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, which is much better than the Iron Maiden version. Somehow Steve Harris heard this track and said, I'm going to pluck that away from Bruce Dickinson. We're going to put it on No Prayer for the Dying. But this one, on one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies soundtracks, is way better. It's way scarier, way better vibes, all of the above than that Iron Maiden version. You could listen to the Iron Maiden version, but you got to listen to this one because it's much scarier sounding, and it's the one that was on the movie soundtrack. Number 18, we have She-Wolf by Megadeth. What more could you get out of this than Werewolf Lady crushing your heart? That is what She-Wolf is all about. It might not be exactly about that, but gosh damn it, that's what my interpretation is going to be of She-Wolf by Megadeth. It's a great track. They play this one live too. It's another one that's a little easier on the ears. The riff is pretty hard and heavy, but Megadeth, their 90s stuff, is a bit more friendly to normie ears than some of the 80s thrash stuff that they've done, but don't mistake it for being not as kick-ass. She-Wolf does, in fact, kick-ass. Number 17, we have the first appearance by Ghost. The spooky Scooby-Doo music band that is a heavy metal band. Yes, they are heavy metal. They might sound like Blue Oyster Cult, but goddamn, this song kicks ass. Ritual is about that itself. It's about satanic rituals of sacrificing and all of that, except it sounds like Scooby-Doo chase music. So, Ritual, just a great track by Ghost in general. You can include a lot of Ghost songs on this list, but I picked Ritual for this spot. Number 16, we have our first solo King Diamond song in Sleepless Nights. Yes, Sleepless Nights. It could be higher on this list, honestly, but it's just a great track from the opening riff to the very end. You know, you play this one and people are going to be like, what is that voice? He just sounds different than any other heavy metal singer. There's no one that sounds like King Diamond, and Sleepless Nights is one of the best vocal sort of previews that you can give to people for all of King Diamond's stuff. This track is amazing. I love it. Number 15, we have another Nightmare on Elm Street track. We have Dream Warriors by Dokken. Yes, we have Dream Warriors by Dokken. If you don't like Dream Warriors by Dokken, turn off the video now, because what's wrong with you? This track just is awesome. Go watch the music video, too, while you're at it. It's about Dokken defeating Freddy Krueger. Yes, and it plays over the credits of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. It's just all around an insane song, an insane music video. Don Dokken screams and sings Freddy away. Freddy takes George Lynch through a wall. It's all kinds of insanity, but it is a great track nonetheless. Dream Warriors by Dokken. Number 14, we have another Mercyful Fate song. We have Come to the Sabbath off of Don't Break the Oath. And yes, this is another great one from King Diamond. This one just is creepy all around. Come to the Sabbath, it's just one of the best vocal performances by King Diamond there is. I can't really add much to, Come to the Sabbath, because it is Mercyful Fate's song. It is their most famous, most iconic track, and it is their best track. Number 13, we have one from Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. We have He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask by Alice Cooper. This track is awesome as well. I love this song. I love Jason Lives. If you can't tell behind me, I love horror movies. But He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask, just a great look into the slasher genre of these 80s and the excess. We got to the point where Alice Cooper was doing the soundtrack for the movies, and he's great. This song is great. That whole 80s Alice Cooper era, one of my favorites. I love that era of his band. I think it's the best era of his band, honestly, personally, but just a great track. Number 12, we have the creepiest Judas Priest song. We have A Touch of Evil, another one off Painkiller. Painkiller seemed pretty creepy, pretty scary, pretty Halloween-y if you listen to it back. But, A Touch of Evil, is it about the Orson Welles movie? Is it about having sex with somebody? Is it about corrupting them with, sexual energy? I don't know. I'm going to infer that it's got some creepy Halloween-y vibes to it. It does sound very creepy Halloween when you get into the whole track, and just we pair this with Nightcrawler and you get two just titans of Halloween heavy metal goodness, and that makes for one of the best Judas Priest tracks in general in A Touch of Evil. Rob Halford's voice is off the charts here. Great scream at the end. Just another great track off of Painkiller. Number 11, we have Welcome Home by King Diamond. Grandma! That's the only time you're going to hear me sing, and I can't even sing very well I can't sing like King Diamond in general anyway, but if you start off a song with Mickey D hitting the drums like he's the animal, and then into King Diamond's scream, and then into everything that's the story of them. You introduce somebody to King Diamond, and then you're like, yeah, guess what? All of the albums have stories. All of them. They all connect. Abigail to all to the end. It's all great. I can't wait for his new album to come out, but Welcome Home, just an excellent, excellent King Diamond song. One that tells a story. It'll get people interested. It'll get people talking. And that's what you want at a party. That's what you want when you're playing people a Halloween playlist after all, isn't it? Number 10, we have a twosome here. We have Hellraiser by Motorhead or Ozzy Osbourne. Either one. You want to pick one. I can't pick one that's my favorite because they're both so good. You either get Lemmy or you get Ozzy. Why are you making me pick? You don't have to pick. Put both of them on there, because just hearing them sing about Hellraiser, it might not actually be about the movie Hellraiser, but in the music video, Lemmy meets the Cenobites. He meets Pinhead, so what more could you ask for, really? That's what I'm asking for in life, is Lemmy to meet the frickin' Cenobites. And that's what you get in the music video for Hellraiser. So listen to this one. Put both of the tracks on your playlist. We're cheating a little bit there, but who cares? Number 9, we have Feed My Frankenstein by Alice Cooper. This one could be Teenage Frankenstein. That's another great one. But I picked Feed My Frankenstein, 1, because it's awesome. 2, because it has a vocal performance from Elvira, the mistress of the goddamn dark. So if you're going to pick a song here and you're going to include Feed My Frankenstein, well, it's sexy, it's scary, it's got the whole creepy vibe to it. Feed My Frankenstein is one of the best Halloween songs in general, and one of the best heavy metal Halloween songs out there. Number 8, we've got another Ozzy track. We've got Bark at the Moon. Yes, you're going to bark at the moon. You're going to turn into a werewolf, Ozzy. Great track, great guitar riff, great guitar solo by Jake E. Lee. Just an all-around amazing track with a pretty damn good vocal performance from Ozzy Osbourne. Just, like I said, all around a great track and an excellent heavy metal Halloween track. Number 7, we have our last song by Ghost on the list here. We have Dance Macabre by Ghost. Music video, great. Track, great. Great for normies to hear as well, because they're all going to be singing it. It's got great lyrics. It's got great double entendre lyrics. Everything you would want out of a Ghost song. This is it and then some, and you get it all in Dance Macabre. There's a reason why Ghost closes a lot of their shows with this track, or plays it near the end of the set list, because it's so damn popular. But this is a great one. You're going to get tons of people asking you, what was that song you just played? It was great. Let me hear it again. Number 6, we have Trick or Treat by Fastway. Yes, we had to get this one in there because it is the best heavy metal Halloween song from the best heavy metal Halloween movie, and that is Trick or Treat. It's not available on Blu-ray yet, but we're getting it on 4K, hopefully sometime soon, so you can go watch it. It does feature Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons, and a great just heavy metal story where a guy resurrects a dead heavy metal singer, and he comes back and he starts killing people. Great movie if you haven't seen Trick or Treat. An excellent one to throw on. It's a little silly, but just a great all-around movie. The entire soundtrack by Fastway for that movie is awesome, by the way. They knocked it out of the park. So if you want more songs like this, you can go listen to the rest of that soundtrack. Throw them on your playlist on Spotify or wherever you have it, and you will love Trick or Treat by Fastway. Number 5, we have All Hallows Eve by Type O Negative. You can include a lot of songs by Type O Negative on this list as well, you know, Black Number 1, all of that. I think All Hallows Eve fits the vibe, the bass at the beginning. It's very moody and sort of wavy and slow, and you get all of that with this track, and it's just kind of vibing, you know, like I'm using that word a lot, but that's what it is. All these are about vibes of Halloween, and you do get that with All Hallows Eve, and it's just a great Type O Negative song. It's one of the first ones I heard by the band, and I love them now to this day. And so if you listen to All Hallows Eve, it's another one that if you play it, people will be like, what was that song you just played? It was great. Let me hear it. Number 4, we have Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Yes, we have the birth of heavy metal on this playlist. You can literally hear heavy metal being born, coming out of the womb, screaming, Satan, carrying the baby, delivering it to all of us, Ozzy Osbourne wailing, Tony Iommi blitzing that riff, and you can hear it being born on this track. And so, I mean, it's the most evil music genre out there. If you ask a bunch of people, you got to include the birth of heavy metal on your Halloween playlist, and that is with Black Sabbath. Off of the first album, Black Sabbath, by the band Black Sabbath. Number 3, these next 3 might not surprise anybody, but we've got Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden. This one's included in some heavy metal or some Halloween movies anyway. Fear Street, Part 1, they included in that movie. But Fear of the Dark, it passes the vibe check, it passes the lyric check, it passes the heavy metal check, passes the everyone knows this song and loves it check. Iron Maiden, when they play this song live, people freak the hell out. I got to hear them play Fear of the Dark in October. What better way to listen to Iron Maiden than do that? Fear of the Dark is an excellent heavy metal Halloween song, and it's one of the best that you can include on a playlist. Number 2, we have Halloween by Helloween. Yes, you can include a lot of Halloween songs as well here. They don't have that many Halloween themed songs, but they have one of the best ones here in Halloween. An epic length adventure, murder, monster, mystery, whatever you want to call it with this track. It is an epic in every sense of the word, and it is all about Halloween. You got pumpkins, you got the Great Pumpkin coming back, all that stuff. And then you got monsters, you got the whole inner section that sounds like a horror movie. Halloween by Helloween is one of the best. It would be the best if not for our number 1 choice, and that is Halloween by King Diamond. Yes, King Diamond brings back Halloween every time he plays this track. It can be the middle of July, and you'll get a little slice of Halloween from King Diamond. It is the quintessential Halloween track. The Monster Mash, all of that, they pale in comparison to Halloween by King Diamond. You can't get any better than that on any playlist, let alone your Halloween heavy metal playlist. But that's it for this list. What are some of your favorite Halloween heavy metal tracks? Did I get to them here? Let me know in the comments what you think they are, what you think of the list, and make sure to listen to lots of heavy metal this Halloween and year round, because we got to defend the faith, we got to defend the Halloween faith, the heavy metal faith. So thank you for watching, and I will wish you a happy Halloween.